Let's do some more commentary on a game of Jake the Zipper now. I need to do a tune, 'cause that's how my brain seems to work right now. What's going on here? Well, there's a lot of options. Plant, Exorcist, and Ambassador all thin. Do 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 do. There's no village other than Ghost, which is not the most reliable. So okay. So I don't think that planning on Ambassador seems that great to me. Like he gets to trash an estate here, but is that really worth it? Are you going to buy a second Ambassador? If you are, did you really need to plan on them? Wouldn't it have been better to just go double Ambassador? These are the questions I have. Enchantress is a thing. Mill is also like a reasonable-ish card. But there's no like plus buy here other than Fortune, which seems hard enough to get to, and there's no village. That I think you're kind of playing single ambassadory for a bit, but you're kind of transitioning into just like getting high quality treasures and then moneying out. Probably with a mill or two along the way, but yeah, I think that's the basic gist of it. Now we'll see here with the 5 coppers. Jake is likely to go for Ambassador and trash another copper here, I think. But I'm not a huge fan of this. I think he's going to get thin real fast. Very thin, very well. But I'm not so convinced that it's actually good. I do like Enchantress as an angle. It's kind of terminal draw, but it has much less of a problem than the other stuff with drawing things dead. And by the other stuff, I mean other terminal draw. So Jake's about to be extremely thin. Which might be good, I guess. You're getting it tacked all the time. I would actually be thinking about Beggar for the reaction, right? That's probably a bit crazy, but I would be, thinking about it. I imagine the pilferer should just return 2 coppers and trash the estate here. I don't really see much else in the way of options. Now, Jake doesn't have any. So I think these last 3 cards are also all coppers. So he's totally fine on economy. But the second ambassador is going to look like a pretty bad card here. So in general, I think what I would be wanting to do here is go with like, yeah, I don't know. I guess the trick is really working out your terminal space. And I guess maybe you just do use Ghost as a village because you need it. In which case you need like a lot of. Oh, that's just so slow though. It's really slow. So, okay, you're setting up that you go with ambassadors. You basically do what Jake's doing, right? Then you build up and you get an exorcist. You can exercise ambassadors. No, that actually probably works fine then, right? You thin this fast, and then you switch to exorcist. Um, he is actually going to be needing to be a little bit concerned with running out of econ, but I don't think he's quite there yet. Um, you switch to exorcist and you turn your ambassadors into imps, and then you kind of rely on your exorcist to be able to keep you thin as this continues to go along. And you get like an artisan maybe and start gaining some cartographers or whatever, turning stuff into ghosts. Yeah, this could be a reasonable plan. Um, Enchantress at many points seems pretty good. Okay, so so Jake has got a 50-50 chance to find his ambassador here. I think this ought to be a silver from Pilferer. Potentially an enchantress. again. Oh, he's planning on scheme. Interesting. Scheme would not have been the card I would have thought of. This should be a silver, yeah. So I assume this is going to be scheme and trash and estate. Yeah, I'm not really seeing scheme being great here. I assume this should be another silver, yup. And now it'll be interesting to see what Jake gets this turn. Pilferer gonna trash this copper? Does, yes. Okay. So I assume he returns 2 coppers, and it'll be interesting to see. I think I'd probably get an exorcist here, and he does. I think that's a really sharp play from Jake. I'd probably go ahead and play this ambassador. I'm really not a fan of the gladiator. Okay, and I think I also play this one. See, the option is you could also exorcist it already and get a... Yeah, but this makes a lot of sense. I was going to say get an imp instead of just a wisp, but this does make a lot of sense. I think Jake should be ahead here, but it's not necessarily so trivial to pursue the advantage. Yeah, this gladiator looks pretty bad to me. So if he plays ambassador and returns 2 things, which I think he probably needs to do, he can buy a 3, which I think should be a silver, and then exercise the gladiator into an imp. Now he buys another gladiator instead of a silver. Yeah, but I think isn't the problem going to be he's just over-terminaled? The pilferer, that is? Over-terminaled, yeah. Now, another interesting decision point. This could be a 5, and turning the exorcist, or exercising the ambassador into an imp. He's going to return a copper. He doesn't actually return the copper. He wants to buy a 3, and he's going to turn the silver into an imp. And that's okay. The scheme I find rather unconvincing. I guess it's okay. You can scheme your imp and a wisp or something. Multiple imps at some point, but it's also a little bit weird in the face of Enchantress. Yeah, massive over-terminalization here for the Pilferer. Enchantress seems like the play to make, and then you exercise Gladiator or Ambassador, I would think. Yeah, I really don't like exercising copper there. Just having an imp is so good. You're so over-terminaled anyway that I would have much preferred somewhat else. So Jake's going to make a similar play to last turn, but it's just slightly different. He just takes an imp there. I would have seriously considered Beggar. He's going to be getting attacked most turns. Wonder when the Pilferer is going to realize that the Pilferer does not have enough terminal space. Okay. So this makes 7, and it trashes a Gladiator. But trashing a Gladiator is pretty neutral. And making 7 gets an Artisan, I guess. I guess this gets him much closer to being able to Ghost. And Artisan also lets you set up your Ghost to be a better, more reliable village. Pending undo request. Okay. So Jake needs more money now. Yeah, silver seems right, and then Ambassador should go get another imp. Yeah. I think the imp is better than the wisp there, although it's not entirely clear, actually. He's on. Stick the cartographer back, I guess. Okay, and scheme and trash out. Uh-huh. He's almost wondering about a second exorcist there, but okay. I think if I were Jake, I'd probably buy something and exercise the ambassador here. And what would the something be? Probably a mill. Could be a vault, I guess. But I think I like mill. It's worth a point. You want to be able to get to 6 so you can start setting up your. So you can get to artisan and start setting up some business that way. But I'd be turning this ambassador into, I guess, another imp. At that point, he has a lot of imps and not that much in terms of different unique cards to set up. At which point, I would not be scheming imp, I'd be scheming something else. Um, Probably wisp. Well, with this play, I'm guessing Jake just has to take either a silver or, I guess, a beggar. Beggar still isn't the craziest thing. He's going to get attacked a lot. He can get 2 silvers with it. Um, he takes a mill this way. Um, yeah, I guess this works. So Jake should definitely feed an imp to this enchantress here. Yep, and now imp and play the mill. Doesn't really matter much. Uh, this seems like it's probably doesn't really matter. Discard the, just not the imp. Play the imp as just a moat, just for the 2 cards, so that you can exercise your ambassador. Oh, I don't like playing the ambassador at all. I don't like giving the silver. I mean, it's probably not a biggest deal. Whoa, I really don't like the gladiator. I just think you don't need that. I was thinking, well, maybe it's not that bad, right? Um, but it just seems like it's not as good as, either artisan or gold. One of them has to be better, right? Right? Like, the only way that that's not true is if you're getting a ton more mileage out of revealing. The only way that Gladiator on this board is better than gold. Well, I guess you gain the gold and you still have the Gladiator. Yeah, maybe. Maybe? Uh, I just like, is that what you want to be spending your terminal space on? Gladiator? Really? Man, I don't know. Anyway, you definitely want to activate this mill here. Play the Gladiator. Not going to matter a ton which of these cards is Pilferer least likely to have. I think they're all about equal, except that silver is the most likely that he would have. Of course, Ambassador and Wisp are the ones he actually has, so, and he doesn't have silver in hand, but I don't think you can know that unless you've been tracking his deck maybe to know that the silvers aren't around. But you definitely don't buy a gladiator here, whatever you do. This log is just invisible. That's cool. Cartographer, huh? Not really seeing that one. What is the point of cartographer? I don't quite understand. I could see artisan, I could see gold, I could see province, I could see scheme, honestly. I could see beggar, like I could see many, many cards before I could see cartographer. I mean, it might not matter too much, right? You're just going to exercise whatever it is and get a ghost. Is very plausible, but yeah. Well, if you're going to do that, I kind of still prefer artisan because then you can gain something with the artisan and then still do that, right? I don't know. Um, yeah, we still have a terminal space issue here for pilferer. Second enchantress is okay. I have no idea what just got revealed because again the log is glitched out. Looks like it's a wisp, so we will get the village effect there, which is nice for him. Don't think I would have led on scheme. I think I would have led on imp. Don't think it's going to matter though. Okay, so this is going to be then imp mill and then imp wisp maybe, and just yeah, it's just going to draw everything. And I guess it's going to be a try again to find something to trash this last gladiator for Jake. And he manages to do it this time and gets himself a fortune. Okay. So I think, Jake's been much thinner with a much better deck for a long time in terms of deck control. And that is going to have him probably maintaining a lead, but it's not entirely clear, particularly because Pilferer has a couple ghosts, so like the deck control aspect is really not totes ob. I think you set up this action here, right? You put this on top so the ghost will hit it. And you gotta buy, you're just not gonna exercise this turn. You gotta buy a fortune ASAP, I think. Pilferer's real problem is that they don't have enough draw. They don't have enough imps. So I don't like the gold there. I mean, turning the silver into an imp is good, but you need more, I think, to get the fortune faster. I think that's a more important issue. So I think that, yeah, the game is pretty close. Jake has time, like he's faster at the moment, but Pilferer has a bigger potential in some ways for a massive deck to be coming together. Also, Jake can be assured at this point that his gladiator will hit if he reveals fortune here. His deck is also less. Whoa! Okay. I was going to say less under control than it was a bit before, but this was not something I anticipated. Yeah, so what do here? Was that ambassador trashing? Oh, the log's back. What do you know? It was ambassador trashing a gladiator from hand and then taking a mill. Okay. So he's just trying to maintain his deck control while also. Yeah, I mean, this makes some sense. Pilfer has better eventual opportunity for all of this stuff with the extra ghosts and whatnot, but Revealing Artisan makes a ton of sense. So now I think you play Artisan, put a Cartographer on top, play Enchantress, play your Ghost, have 8, buy a Fortune. Yup. So, yeah, Jake is still a little bit thinner. It's a lot closer than it was before, though. Fortunately for him, this Wisp isn't going to hit. And I think he can't discard the mill here. Just doesn't do enough. Okay, I don't like that. I really wanted to exercise an ambassador there. Yeah, revealing the silver now is probably a little better than not. He just needs to double province here. So the way Jake wins is by making the game short enough that he can run it out, potentially also ambassadoring provinces to run it out faster. In the long term, his deck is just going to be worse. So I really think that Jake really needs to just double here. You're never building bigger than double anyway, and you're not getting enough extra reliability to hold off longer. The way you build bigger than double would be to get like another fortune. That cannot be worth the time because you have to get so much extra money as well, but it's literally the only way to get more buy, and you can't ever build that big, so you just have to go for double. It takes far too long to go for anything more. um, yeah, this Wisp also not going to hit from Pilferer here in a way, which is unfortunate for said Pilferer scheme. Cartographer. Okay, so you want to make sure you draw a ghost here, and I don't like what this happens there. He could have just drawn an extra copper and didn't, because he could have had it on top, and then when he discarded, he just discarded a copper, and he could have had it in his hand, and it would have been better. Mill is reasonable. Probably a bit better than Cartographer at this point. Putting the mill on top is fine. Revealing the ghost is obviously good. Ambassador away 2 coppers, I would assume? Yes. Are you going to exercise the silver here? No, you're not. You're just going to double province. Yeah, this makes some sense as well. You should definitely just double. Yep. So yeah, we still have a very close game where I think Jake is largely advantaged off of being the first player to play in this game. But it's very tricky at this point because that artisan also represents the ability to gain a duchy, which might win the game. So actually, I don't know that Jake is advantaged because of that in particular. So you discard. I was thinking you discard the ambassador rather than what he actually did. Um, yeah. So at this point, Pilfer has more econ than he could ever use, so the silver is genuinely junk. Because if Pilfer draws, then the silver isn't extra value to Pilfer, and if Pilfer doesn't draw, then you know what does it matter? Um, okay, but I think just don't discard here. There's just no reason to. You need to make sure that you draw as much as you possibly can. And discarding here, these cards are too good. The Enchantress probably isn't good enough. You're not going to play it, but no other card that you would be discarding is worth. Okay, now I would discard the. No, wait, no. You need the Ambassador as well. So the plan for this turn for Pilferer is he has 3 actions, right? So he can Ambassador a province back, buy 2 provinces. That gets him to 25 and Jake to 26, and then Artisan a duchy. If he can accomplish doing all of that, he will win this game. Now you definitely need to. Oh, you can't cartographer. Oh, that's the wrong order. Oh, so this won't work. Okay, okay. So now, Enchantress, you should have ambassadored over a gladiator. Whatever you do, don't double province. I think you double duchy. You should exercise ambassador now, probably. He knows that his ghost is going to hit artisan, which is pretty sucky. It's not really a card you want to be ghosting. I guess double province, like, it's very good if Jake whiffs, but it's just not likely enough that Jake whiffs. Now, if you've been tracking really well, it's a bit more likely, but I still don't think it's likely enough. Okay. Jake should definitely play Ambassador first here. Feed that to the Enchantress. Yes. Okay. Yep. This is not a good hand, though, for Jake, who probably just needs to Duchy here. Although it feels quite bad. Not play this Exorcist. Probably not buy a copper. Doesn't seem good. No, he should not have. Just because it didn't work out doesn't mean, yeah. So whatever Pilferer gains here, he should put copper back with his first gain, or Wisp, so that he can Wisp and make sure that the Wisp draws, because he's going to put 2 things on top here. Now the most obvious things to be gaining here would be duchies, and that looks like what he's going for, but I'm not entirely convinced. So we did put the copper back, so that's really good. A mill, yeah, a mill makes some sense. And he did Wisp there, so that's real good. It's all been played tight. Okay, cartographer. Boom. Okay, so yeah, but it's not that bad of a shuffle. I mean, you know that he's going to have the Ambassador and the Imp. The Ambassador is going to draw him a card, and then the Imp is going to draw him 2 cards, and it's very plausible. So, like, double province. No, the Ambassador actually helps. So, the Ambassador helps Jake get out of it. Double province seems very risky, but maybe single province helps. Yeah. I think you just pitch Exorcist here, right? And then you play Cartographer to draw the Imp, and then you play Imp and hit the mill. I don't like pitching the gold. Actually, pitching the gold might be very, very good, the more I think about it. Okay, so you leave the gold on top. You Imp into mill and draw the other 3 cards. And you buy double duchy. Or you buy double province? No, you buy double province. Yeah. No, this should be very good, right? Double province. Jake can't do better than province duchy. And yeah, so discard the 2 green cards. 2 of the green cards. You do this. And now double province is safe because Jake can't score more than province duchy, and that only ties in Jake's first player. So you just double province now as Pilferer, and you're in very, very good position. Pilferer has actually played this turn very well, and a little bit better than my, if you were listening, my initial Thoughts? Like skipping the gold I think was actually very good because it's just not a relevant card. Yes. So this is good, and that more or less guarantees the game, I think. The mill, I guess it's not quite guaranteed, but it's very, very strong. Wow. Great hand from Pilferer. Imp Cartographer. Discard everything except for the fortune. Yep. I don't know if I would have discarded those. It doesn't really matter though. Now, obviously, Jake just has to double duchy and hope for a complete and total dud. Because he loses on turns if he goes province duchy. And you don't really have time to take another fortune at this point, even though he obviously has plenty of money to do so. Yeah, now we know that this hope is not going to turn out well for him. And Pilfer just has all the cards here. This is win in hand, yeah? Yes. If he would have discarded with the second mill, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's many, many ways to make enough money here. He can just play his treasures at this point. And Jake resigns. Thanks for watching, everybody.